I have to ask you, Jim, how good was our weekend?
Oh, we were talking next door. Just from Wednesday to Sunday, every day was just so different, so special. You couldn't even script or imagine what it's like at every moment you go through there, from sitting on the porch with Cal and Jim Palmer, and, you know, in walks Rod Carew. I mean, the list, it just goes on and on. It's like you never want to leave. Yeah. And then you've got the induction was great, to my daughter's, you know, national anthem, to the parade on Saturday, to the party that the Indians threw. It just, everything in Cooperstown is magical. It really is. Yeah. It's like it could go on for 10 days, and I think you would just want to keep riding that wave. It's so incredible.
Yeah. Well, I think if anybody would appreciate it, it would be you. It seems like you appreciate it every day you were on the baseball field. Playing against you was a great thrill for me, because I saw you when you came in when the Indians were not a good team. They were losing 100 games a year. And if you want to talk about this, because the Orioles are kind of in a rebuild. Yeah. Back in the early 90s, 91, when you and a boatload of young players come on board, the Indians were rebuilding. Yeah. Next thing you know, it's pennant. The rest of the 90s, you guys were just tearing it up.
Yeah, and I think what happens, you know, and it's happening right now with us. I work for the White Sox, so we're in a little bit of that situation right now. So going back to the teams of the 90s, they did a fine job at drafting us kids that they thought would have a chance to play in the big leagues. And then all of a sudden, you know, what I remember is from Double-A to the big leagues, when all of us got there, it happened so quick. And I think it happens quick. The fans have to understand is when that process finally comes together, you snap your finger and you go, ooh, we're pretty good. You know, and I think that's what's happening in Philadelphia. Yep. I think it's happening in Atlanta. How could those teams, you envision it happening, but when it does, quickly, that's when the bar is set really high. I mean,
you played forever at the major league level. Played till you were 41 years old. Yeah. Not many players can do that, and you're still learning. I mean, that kind of describes Jim Thome right there.
Well, you want to learn. You know, and you want to take little things, but you also want to give little things that help these guys become who they are today.
Jim, we'll ask you one more, then let you go. You've been so kind to stay here. What do you want to do in the game?
Well, I work for the White Sox. I'm a special assistant to the general manager. I love Mr. Reinsdorf. Rick Hahn is doing a fine job with our rebuild. Kenny Williams is our president. He's got great passion and love for the game. We've got some really good prospects right now in our minor leagues. So I love being around that. I live in Chicago, in a great baseball city. I work for MLB Network about 5 days a month. So I get to go in there. I get to learn from the media side, you know, all the little things about now, the sabermetrics and the analytics, and listen to Brian Kenny talk about all the fun little analytics, and being in the old school as we are, you know, we jab him a little bit and have fun. But I really respect BK because he does a lot of his homework. And he's got great thoughts, as do a lot of the analysts there. Yeah. So I'm learning of that. And I also just, you know, I love being a family guy. You know, I can take my wife to dinner on Fridays and Saturdays and ultimately keep the boys from knocking at the front door for my daughter and watch my 10-year-old hit left-handed and just enjoy every part of it. So it's great.
So you're going to be a GM once the kids are up and out of school. That's the answer to my question.
You know what? You know, I'll answer your question at some point. At some point, I do want to get back in the game. I've asked what I'd like to manage. I don't ever want to say never. And if an opportunity came up, I would listen. Yep. But I also feel to give everything I've always done in the game of preparation, there's got to be the right timing and with great baseball men to help you and us along the way accomplish what we all dream of doing is win a World Series.
Yes.
Jim, it's just obviously congratulations again. It's a great pleasure always to see you. So
I miss
kind.
You guys. Good to see you.
Great of you to come by and say hi. We really appreciate it.
You too, man.
Enjoy it all.
Thank you.